Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. My name's Matthew Egan. I'm the Editorial Director of Innovators Media. And welcome to What's Cooking with Nutanix and HPE. So a really exciting podcast, actually. It's going to be a bit episodic. And what we're really looking at doing is uncovering the collaboration between Nutanix and HPE, the technical side of things, as well as what's going on in the market, and a little bit of a forecast into the future around how the technologies can really assist the enterprise into moving forward and driving some great transformation. So this is actually episode 1 of What's Cooking, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with two gentlemen. So Mark Arapakis, National Pre-Sales Manager for Hybrid Cloud at HPE, as well as Tim Hartman, so the Director of Systems Engineering and ANZ at Nutanix. So how are we going, guys?
Really good, Matt. Yeah, thanks for organising today and looking forward to it.
Yeah, excellent, Matt. Good to see you again.
Brilliant, and thanks for kickstarting it. Always hard to be the first one, but I think we're in very safe hands with Mark, I've got to say. So I guess I'll start with yourself, Tim. Having a look at HPE and Nutanix, why are they such a great fit for the market?
Yeah, well, it's probably good to look back at the history of Nutanix. We're a fairly young company. We've only been around for about 10 or 11 years, and initially, to take what we effectively invented, hyperconverged infrastructure to market initially, we had to come to market with our own hardware because nothing was really on the market that existed that fitted our needs. So we came out with the NX platform, tightly coupled with our AOS software. Took it to market as a hyperconverged solution, which basically means that you've got CPU, storage, compute, all compressed in the same building block. And if you want more capacity, you just add more to the cluster, scale out architecture. So wind the clock forward 10 years. Nutanix is now squarely, a cloud OS company, right? We've built out technologies and solutions over the top of that. And if you look at where we're going in terms of the industry, we're sort of moving away from a pure data center, landscape to an IoT edge data center cloud or IoT edge cloud, environment, I guess, or topology, whatever you want to call it. Now, what that demands is that, there are a lot of different use cases at the edge, and there are a lot of different use cases, within the data center, where you need capacity that's right-sized, right-fitted, ruggedized or not, dust-proof, the whole lot. So depending on the situation, you want choice of hardware. So we're never going to provide that choice of hardware ourselves. We're not a hardware company, and that's why we heavily rely on on HPE to partner with us on taking those to market.
Yeah, brilliant. Choice is paramount in driving that flexibility. Mark, what are your observations when you think about the relationship and why they're such a good fit?
Yeah, for me, it's and that's all valid. And when I look at Nutanix and HPE, we've come from innovation. Nutanix, Tim spoke about the innovation of hyperconverged infrastructure, or that hyperconverged space, and for HPE, been around for a lot longer and innovation on a whole bunch of things. But we think about like our go-to-market server platforms. In the early days, in the compact days, we brought some of those innovations into the market to drive the innovation space. So we've both come from the same innovation spot. We're two market leaders, Nutanix in hyperconverged, HPE in the infrastructure space. So combining those two together to bring best of breed solutions for our customers, doesn't matter where it is, for those end-to-end solutions, edge, compute, whatever type of workload, I think that's the strength in the organizations. And we're strongly supported by both organizations. When we think about integration between the two companies and our software stack, the certified platforms, as Tim sort of alluded to, with the different types of workloads, lifecycle management and support. It's a really good connection between the two organizations, and I'm really excited to see where it's come from in the last sort of 12 months to now. I'm really excited about the next 12 months to see what we can do in the marketplace.
Yeah, brilliant. Both of you kind of touched upon a lot of innovations, both within the product and then also sort of how the enterprise is using the technology and in what different environments. Interesting, Tim, that you alluded to the fact that people really need, you know, a multiple amount of options at the moment. When you look at what's in it for the customers, I guess I'll start with yourself, Tim. What sort of comes up as being primary when you look at some of the benefits to the customers?
Yeah, I think you know, when you talk about customer benefits, you know, I tend to focus on, you know, revenue, expense, security, time to market, right? And if you look at infrastructure, it's squarely in the expense bucket. So, you know, both from a capex perspective as well as an opex perspective. Now, so the trick is, how do you make that almost invisible? So our mantra within, you know, Nutanix is making infrastructure invisible, because nobody really wants to buy all this stuff to keep a data center warm. They just need it to run applications, right? So now the way to make it invisible is to make it completely, you know, no touch or zero touch or low touch, right? So the mantra or the strategy that we employed pretty much from the beginning is tightly coupling everything. So tightly coupling the you know, the software layer on top of the hardware, you know, from a firmware BIOS level, you know, down. So if you do a one-click upgrade, for example, or a rolling upgrade, you want, you know, Nutanix to be able to, you know, upgrade the firmware on the HP hardware, you know, the BIOS, our software, our storage substrate, all the management tools and everything else that sits on top of that with a single click. So operationally, you know, because if you think about the environments that this hardware and software goes into, you know, you're talking about warehouses, you're talking about, you know, remote offices, you're talking about places where nobody wants to be, really, except for the people that work there. So, you know, centrally being able to, you know, manage that life cycle, zero touch, is incredibly important. And that's why, you know, the partnership on the DX platform, which, you know, under the hood is, you know, something that Mark can actually tell you more about. But from our perspective, it is the DX BIOS, right?
Yeah, brilliant. Mark, do you have something to add on that?
Yeah, there's a few things. And I guess, you know, the partnerships brings to our customers choice. You know, Tim spoke a bit about that. You know, the choice of the freedom of choice, you know, on the workload type. So the freedom of choice of how they purchase it, if it's a CapEx type approach or if it's a consumption-based model. If, you know, if we look at some of the stats around customers buying as a service, you know, it's squarely moving towards customers buying these things as a service, because, you know, a quick time to market and some of those things that Tim spoke to, they need to be able to scale very, very quickly. The choice of configurations, depending on workload and use case, and that could be, you know, some high performance use cases where maybe a particular processor, an AMD processor, or an Intel processor might lead to sort of better suitability for those types of environments. The choice of hypervisors, the choice of security models, the choice of clouds, public, private, edge. And we make it easier for customers to buy the solution. It comes straight out of the HPE factory, pre-installed, ready to go. If Tim sort of spoke about too around the portfolio and the use case and the DX range, and I guess that's where we differentiate. One of the areas we differentiate in the marketplace, and we've got the broadest range of Nutanix certified compute platforms available in the market today. And our conversations have changed in the last few years. It's not about the platform anymore. It's about the workload type and where the workload is going and what the workload needs to do from their customer. So whether it's a VDI workload, an edge workload, an analytics workload, an AI machine learning workload, high performance computing workload, database workload, we've got platforms that can suit that type of workload in any environment, from the EL8000 that Tim spoke about, the edge, which is the massive growth area for both companies, Apollos for compute density, our DX range around 360, 380s for rack dense and core compute, and they're all certified through the Nutanix and HPE model. So we're in a good position.
Yeah, brilliant. Tim, did you have anything to add on that, and what's under the bonnet from what you see?
Oh no! I mean, I run the pre-sales team at Nutanix, right? So as soon as the portfolio, the DX portfolio, was announced to my team, the SE team, they were like kids in a candy shop, right? Because all of
Yeah.
a sudden they could attack so many more use cases with our customers, from, like I said, warehouses to, really high density compute and storage in the data center itself. Capacity per RU is everything, right? So yeah, just choice is beautiful.
Yeah, brilliant. What's cooking? There seems to be quite a lot cooking in terms of choice and flexibility. Tim and Mark, thanks so much for taking that through. I guess a call to action would be definitely reach out to the guys, particularly around the technical side of things, as it does obviously offer a lot of variety, and as Mark alluded to, it really is about the application itself and having that focus. The session's called What's Cooking, guys. I do have a little bit of back history on you both. I better finish up with some serious questions. Tim, you've got a wood fire pizza oven at home. Very exciting.
Yeah.
What makes the best pizza? And this is on the record too.
This is on the record.
Yes.
So make your dough early in the morning, and then get it ready. You'll light your fire at about 5 p.m. Stick with the basics. So don't go crazy with your toppings. Just keep it nice and simple. Get your oven up to about 400 degrees Celsius, 2 minutes max, boom. And you can smash out 20 in a night.
Brilliant. That sounds very good. I certainly hope that you'll be able to enjoy making 20 pizzas for your friends very soon down in Melbourne. And Mark, I already know this personally, but you're a bit of a barbecue fan. What's the best barbecue, and are there any synergies between barbecues and IT infrastructure?
I'm glad you brought that up, because this is not scripted at all, is it, Matt? Look, there is, and I love my barbecues, and I've just bought my 6th barbecue. And if I want my trusted, true barbecue, I'll go to my Weber kettle. It's the first barbecue I owned, and it's suitable for everything. You can smoke meat on it, you can cook fish on it, you can do direct cooking or oven cooking or whatever you want. It's a fantastic barbecue. And I'm in Melbourne. I've been in lockdown for the last 6 months. And we're getting out of the house now, and we go to parks and things, and I want to cook my barbecue out in the park, and it sort of aligns to that edge workload. And talking about the type of workload or the type of meat you want to cook and where you want to cook it, you need to build a specific barbecue platform for that. So I've just invested in my first Weber GA, it's called. It's a Go Anywhere barbecue, so I can take that to the park and fire it up, cook up some nice ribs, and enjoy a sunset or the beach scene over a couple of drinks.
Brilliant. And it sounds like you've got a very accommodating family with 6 barbecues in your garage.
They're going to go with the flow.
Yeah, that's it. Gentlemen, thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate you guys being the first cab off the rank and taking us through the technical side. As mentioned, there is a lot going on, so we really look forward to showcasing more in the future. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Matt. And thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers, guys.